these shadows in my room. Hear the voices, think they haunted. All the love I gave to you, right now I think that it's costing. I thought that you were crazy, but you said you act accordingly. Your touch is burning deep into my skin, can't get that off line.
On July 30th, 2010, three men were drinking together in a backyard in Richland County, South Carolina.
Right.
The names of the men were Leslie Todd Parvin, Edgar Lopez, and Pablo Gutierrez Guzman. At some point in the afternoon, an argument broke out between the three men, and Leslie ended up pulling a handgun from his waistband and taking the lives of the two other men.
Wow.
It's unclear exactly what sparked the argument between the three men, but immediately after the shooting, Parvin fled to Louisiana in his green Kia minivan. Once there, he shaved his head and destroyed both the gun he had used to take the lives of his two victims, as well as the minivan. For a few days, Parvin managed to elude the authorities, but pretty soon the cops started scanning through license plate records of all green Kia vans registered in Louisiana. According to investigation documents, after the double murder, a witness had reported a partial tag of Parvin's minivan to the police. And a couple days later, on a whim, the cops plugged the suspect's address into Google Maps Street View, and sure enough found a green minivan parked in front of his house with the license plates and description matching what the witness had told them. With that kind of evidence stacked against him, it was pretty much all over for Parvin.
Yeah, I was
and on August 19th, a relative brought him back to his home in the Windsor Lake area, where he was promptly arrested on 2 charges of murder and later sentenced to 35 years in prison.
Bro, I'm trying to figure, bro, what was the argument about that? Like, you had to kill your homies, bro. Like, bro, I've gotten to some heated debates with my homies before. I've never once thought about killing them, ever. Ever. Never once thought about killing them in GTA. Like, what could this argument possibly have been about that made you want to, like, slime your homies?
During the investigation, it was publicly revealed that Parvin was a 20-year Army veteran with 5 overseas deployments and a pretty bad case of PTSD, which he had been diagnosed with in 2007. According to his father's testimony, his 20 years of military service and the stress from his tours near Iraq and Afghanistan could have influenced his behavior on the day of the incident. You would think that after 2 decades of selflessly serving his country, Parvin would have been provided the appropriate mental health treatment to help him live his life peacefully. Instead, 2 innocent men are now dead, and the perpetrator himself will be spending most of the rest of his life behind bars. 35 years after his crime, at the age of 75, Parvin will be released from prison into a world he'll probably no longer even recognize.
Facts.
In July 2018, Channel 4 released an incredibly disturbing video which showed a group of uniformed men leading multiple women and children through a dirt road and onto a deserted patch of land, where the armed men then shamelessly took the lives of the victims at gunpoint. In the video, the men can be heard accusing the women and children of belonging to the notorious terrorist group Boko Haram. The video caught the attention of the entire world, with hundreds of people immediately alleging that the terrifying footage had been captured in Cameroon. However, the government of Cameroon immediately denied the claims, alleging that the video wasn't even shot in their country and that their army was being wrongly blamed for killing civilians. Still, the BBC wasn't convinced, and their team of researchers decided to find out who had been responsible for the atrocities in the video, where they took place, and when. After receiving an anonymous tip, they used Google Maps to study the layout of a particular region in Cameroon and discovered that the mountain range visible in the background of the video was near a village named Krawa Mafa, very close to the Nigerian border. By analyzing several years of Google satellite imagery of the region, the researchers from the BBC were able to determine that the incident had taken place at some point between March 20th and April 5th, 2015. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that the Cameroonian government...
I think it's pretty crazy how, they use Google, they use empty roads, 2 buildings, and a mountain range to pretty much determine where this was at. I think that's pretty, I don't know. I find that kind of cool, to be honest. They didn't have much to go with. They literally just studied the background and just got a bit of information that they needed.
2015. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that the Cameroonian government hadn't been honest when they denied the claims. For example, the government had claimed that the Cameroonian army didn't use weapons like the ones shown in the video, but the BBC's analysis revealed that the guns were Serbian-made Zastava M21.
This nigga's got a Galil? What's that, a Galil, bro? All my Call of Duty players, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's a Galil, ain't it? Or am I tweaking? That's like, nah, I was gonna say AS Val. That's not an AS Val. That's more that. No, it could be. I don't know. Galil's the first thing that came to mind though. But y'all should have known Cameroonians be lying, bro. Joel Embiid don't even be telling the truth. Black Ops 1 vibes, definitely. Definitely Black Ops 1 vibes, for sure. For sure.
which are in fact
I
used
saw that gun and immediately thought Woods. I just
in
thought
the
of Woods.
Cameroonian army. On top of this, several other details that the government had claimed were inaccurate turned out to be a perfect match, including the armed men's uniforms. A month after the Cameroonian government's initial denial of the claims, they then updated their statement to clarify that 7 members of the army were now under investigation. And when the BBC shared their full report with the Cameroonian government, the country's Minister of Communication was reported saying, 7 soldiers were arrested, disarmed. They are under investigation right now. I can confirm that all 7 of them are in prison. In their next statement, the Cameroonian government released the names of the 7 detainees, and the BBC confirmed that some of them were the same people who were seen in the video
Sorry, I keep pausing, but how... Remember they said they lied about their uniforms? I feel like that's pretty... I don't... Why would you lie about the uniforms? Obviously, if they were to look up, or if anybody knew what the Cameroonian military uniforms look like, and then they look back at this video, they're gonna go, oh, these niggas look familiar. You see what I'm saying? I don't think you could have, y'all think you should have lied about that one. Kind of weakened your case a little bit.
BBC confirmed that some of them were the same people who were seen in the video executing the innocent women and children. In 2020, 4 of the soldiers in the video received 10-year prison sentences for the murders, while a 5th soldier was sentenced to 2 years for filming and sharing the footage. The other 2 soldiers were acquitted. It's crazy to think that you can get away with such an atrocious crime and only face 10 years in prison.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
At least they're being held accountable for what they did, all thanks to a very detailed examination of the video's content against Google's satellite imagery. Between
The government definitely has to be held accountable for that too, right? Because like, what are your soldiers doing? Like, what are your soldiers doing, bro? Like, why are they doing all this? I feel like that falls back on the government too.
2010 and 2011, 11 bodies were found near Gilgo Beach on the south shore of Long Island between Nassau and Suffolk counties. Most of the bodies belonged to female escorts whose lives had been taken as early as 1993. But it wasn't until 2023 that they finally managed to arrest Rex Heuermann, a 60-year-old architect and father of 2, and connect him to the
Pause. Now, just from what I have here, I haven't gone to the rest of the video yet. Get a good look at Buddy here, right? You're trying to tell me she went for that? You're trying to tell me she went for that? You're trying to tell me she went for that? I didn't expect it out of her, not gonna lie. She seemed, I have to use past tense now, RIP. She seemed more, not his type. Not her type. He seemed more not her type. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. I apologize.
3. But it
But you did say they were escorts.
wasn't
So
until 2023 that they finally managed
escorts do, if there's money involved, who's to tell what they might do?
to arrest Rex Heuermann,
He
a
definitely did it,
60-year-old
though.
architect and father of 2, and
Seems
connect
like
him to
he
the
did it.
crimes through DNA evidence, cell phone records, and the links between his Chevy Avalanche and the crimes. After his arrest, Rex was charged with the deaths of 4 women. And later, he was charged with the deaths of 2 other women after DNA evidence linked him to the crimes. Disturbingly, the cops found that the suspect had used several burner phones to conduct thousands of searches related to
Look at this nigga, bro. Look at this nigga. Look at his build, bro. Look at his archetype. He ain't got no badges. He got no badges, gang. Analyze this photo. He ain't got no badges. I can't believe that the escorts, no disrespect to the escorts, rest in peace, but I can't believe y'all was out here giving it up to bro. Cannot believe y'all
the
just
things he later ended up doing to his victims. And to seal Huerman's fate, they also found a huge Word document on his hard drive in his basement in which Rex had planned out the murders of his victims in very explicit detail. Shockingly, the document included
Small is good? Bro, look at this list, bro. Cutting tools, burn can. Bro. He already knew the problems he were gonna face, bro. Trace sources applies. Bruh. This nigga's a lunatic.
checklist that outlined the steps he needed to complete before, during, and after his killings. Based on court evidence, Huerman started committing these crimes as early as 1993, and if found guilty, he'll be facing multiple consecutive life sentences in prison. As of 2024, the case is still ongoing, but during the investigation, some more disturbing details have surfaced. In 2023, some online users discovered a Google Street View image of Huerman talking to an unidentified woman near his office on East 36th Street more than a year before his arrest. Now, we have no idea who this woman is, and it's very possible that she was a potential victim, but we also can't say that for sure. Chillingly, in the image, Rex also appears to be wearing the same shirt that he wore for a YouTube interview earlier in 2022, where he spoke about his role as an architect at his firm on Fifth Avenue.
Oh my god, bro.
His defense lawyer, Michael Brown, told the New York Post that the cops have the wrong man.
Bro, imagine you, oh my god. Imagine you're this nigga, right? And your job is to defend a dude like this who has all of this evidence against him, bro. Bro, if that was me, I'm telling the judge, just give that nigga the book. I'm not winning this case, bro. There's way too much evidence against my client. There's no way in the world I'm winning this case. The nigga did it. He's linked to everything. There was a Word document that he has explaining what he should do before the murders, during the murders, and after the murders. And he's linked to all of them. Just throw the book at this nigga. We can make this case quick.
Rex also appears to be wearing the same shirt that he wore for a YouTube interview earlier.
It's like that one Drewski clip. Y'all seen that Drewski clip? Good news is, we got your payment, brother. Bad news is, they gave you life.
In 2022, where he spoke about his role as an architect at his firm on Fifth Avenue.
Oh my god, yeah, he's
His defense
good.
lawyer,
I
Michael
couldn't be this
Brown,
nigga
told the
right
New
here.
York
Couldn't be
Post that
him
the
right
cops have the wrong man.
You know they got the right dude.
In September 2008, a 14-year-old Dutch boy was riding his bike in the town of Groningen, about 110 miles northeast of Amsterdam, when suddenly two young men walked behind him, dragged him off his bike, and robbed him of €165 and his phone. For several months, the cops failed to find the suspects, as no witnesses came forward and they only had the boy's description of the muggers to go on. In March of the following year, the victim went on his computer and started surfing Google Maps Street View, looking at the location where he'd been mugged around 6 months earlier. To his surprise, the Street View car had captured the two men walking up behind him in the moments before the crime. As is usually the case with these images, the faces of the two muggers and the victim were blurred, but the boy immediately called the cops and informed them of the new development in the case. With the Street View pictures in hand, the authorities asked Google to hand over the unblurred version of the images to help identify the suspects. Interestingly, as soon as they got the unblurred images, the investigators recognized one of the muggers from a previous crime, and the other suspect was identified as the first mugger's twin brother.
The nigga just didn't learn, did he? You just didn't learn, did you, bro? Like you, the first one wasn't enough, bro. You could tell they were brothers. Just from that, like I was kind of thinking they like look alike, but I didn't want to assume. But now that he said that, like you could definitely tell like they look alike, bro.
After confirming their identity, the Dutch police were able to track down and arrest the twins, but I wasn't able to find official confirmation that they were charged and sentenced. It's unclear if the boy ever got his phone and money back.
Doubt it.
30-year-old Kim Wall was an award-winning Swedish journalist who traveled all over the world to cover stories on social justice. Throughout her career, her reporting took her to countries like Uganda, Cuba, the Marshall Islands, and Kenya, with her work often being featured in prestigious journals like the New York Times, the South China Morning Post, and the Atlantic. In 2017, while she was in Copenhagen with her boyfriend, she met Peter Madsen, a brilliant Danish inventor and self-taught engineer who had built his own submarine, designed his own rockets, and had plans to launch himself into space in the near future. On August 10th of that year, Peter Madsen took Kim Wall on a trip off the Copenhagen coast in his homemade submarine, the NC-3 Nautilus, for a brief interview.
Just from what I have right here, all I'm saying is it's not looking too why would you travel in a submarine for an interview with this nigga? You're trapped. Now, I don't know what happens after this. We're about to see. But from what I'm watching, what all the information I have, you don't do that.
Sadly, after that trip, Kim Wall was never seen again. When she didn't come back later that day, her partner reported her missing and an official investigation was officially launched. Just a few days later, on the 21st of August, a passing cyclist found parts of her body washed up on the beach close to where she had gone missing. And about a month and a half later, the rest of her body was found in multiple different weighted down bags by police divers.
Wow.
During the investigation, Madsen was brought in for questioning, but he denied having anything to do with the state of her body. He instead claimed that Kim Wall had died after being accidentally hit on the head by the hatch of the submarine. Strangely, he later ended up changing his account of the events and claimed that Wall had died after inhaling toxic fumes. Although no trace of toxic fumes was found in her system, the authorities did find 15 stab wounds on Kim's body. After being held in police custody for a while, Madsen eventually confessed that he had murdered Wall and then thrown her separate body parts into the Baltic Sea. In April 2018, Peter Madsen was convicted on 3 separate charges and was sentenced to life in prison, where he's been spending his days for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
In 2021, Madsen ended up receiving an additional 21 months in prison for staging a bomb threat in an extremely elaborate escape attempt.
Completely unrelated to the case. Bro, look at this nigga's position. Like, I know he's prone, but bro, the nigga ankles is bent, like each foot bent outwards like that. That's almost 90 degrees. That's almost a 90, not a 90 degree. That's almost like a full 180 right there. Almost a full 180 straight.
In prison for staging a bomb threat in an extremely elaborate escape attempt.
Great training.
Fortunately, he was recaptured soon after and was brought back to his cell. One of the things that's interesting about this case is that Peter Madsen had been captured by the Google Maps Street View camera climbing into his submarine. Chillingly, when he confessed to the murder, he mentioned that his intention was never to take Kim Wall's life, but rather to sink the Nautilus forever, even if it meant that both he and the innocent journalist would die inside. To this day, it's still unclear how exactly he took Kim's life, but thankfully Madsen will be spending the rest of his life behind bars with no possibility of ever coming back to society again.
Yeah, he was definitely a threat.
Porto Rotondo is a district in Sardinia known for its imposing mansions, sandy beaches, and elegant shops and restaurants. In 2002, an Italian businessman sold his villa in Porto Rotondo for 280,000 euros. Due to the comparatively low value of the transaction, the sale immediately raised a red flag for the authorities, and the finance police in Italy ended up using Google Earth as part of their investigation into the property. One important detail about the villa in question is that it allegedly had a swimming pool with a very particular shape, which the cops used to guide their search for the villa using satellite imagery. As soon as they found the property, they confirmed that they had a major case of tax evasion on their hands, as the actual value of the villa should have been much, much higher considering that the value of all the properties nearby was in the high 7 figures. With enough evidence from Google's satellite imagery to confirm that the unidentified businessman had indeed committed tax fraud, the finance police then checked the suspect's bank accounts and discovered 7 million euros in unreported deposits spanning several years. This was a case that I just couldn't find a lot of information on, as the original article in Italian had very few details, and it wasn't even officially confirmed what the legal consequences were for the businessman. Still, it's probably safe to assume that his assets were seized, and due to the
Can I get to the dance? Sweet yams. Show.
All right, Brennan, my bad.
crazy amount of unreported cash, it's likely that he spent at least a few years in jail.
Good night, bro. Let me know trades.
Hey, Andre, or Dre. I just wanted to say good morning. The kids miss you. We're wanting to know when you're coming back home. If you could, like, just fly out here, like, tonight, that would be good.